together, helping each other, supporting each other, in understanding that we created instead of trying to control each other by thinking that because we create our own reality, we're the only one who's doing it. Everybody's doing it. And what are you allowing in your reality of me? And what do I allow in my reality of you? And how can we work that out? Because we're here, we're together. And what are we going to do with it? How are we going to work this out and make this work so that when there's some kind of disruption to that experience and you're feeling at odds with it in some way, you can work it out together, which is a whole new thing. Because, before when you did the work, you have to do all the work on yourself so that you can even open up for a space to attract someone who's going to be able to talk to you, to have a conversation, to even open up to the conversation. But now I'm noticing more and more people are open to the conversation. So now we need to be open to how can we agree and what would that look like? And that's the next step, I think. The next step is for us to consciously have the intention to agree and to find what we can all be in agreement with that's going to be about peace and be about love and be about harmony.
I think that the one thing that really has to do comes back to a couple things I've studied on creativity and play, is that a lot of the same elements for creativity are the same elements in play, like a child's play. That it's a sense of disattachment, it's all flowing, it's all in the moment, and it's kind of reaching that optimal point of challenging yourself while everything is happening so easily. It's like playing the best thing you've ever done, but it feeling like, it was a breeze. And the same thing goes for creativity, and that's being in that flow in that moment. And it's being able to exist in that energetic state and a loving state and an accepting state and an allowing state. And once you're in that, you can have people come together and you can communicate. You can agree to disagree. You can synthesize information. But if you can meet on that level, everything else is not needed.
All right, that's it. Just heal the planet.
Hooray!
Hey, that's good. That's great. So, in your peer group, in your friends, where you people that you hang out with, people that you're attracting to your life now, do you feel like that this conversation is open and that, or do you sometimes feel like they're from another time or era, and that they don't even get it at all? They don't even.
I've seen a mixed bag of both. There are some people who I have conversations with or have relationships with where I can tell like this was something we prearranged. This is something that our higher selves arranged for us to come together at this point in time and exchange this information. Where with others, you can tell that they're just totally disconnected from themselves, and you just try to be receptive to the ones who do want to talk to you, who do want to actually consciously engage with you, versus the ones that are just stuck in these old paradigm time loops and just can't seem to break free of them. But you also have to realize that people like that too need to break out themselves. There is nothing that I could do for someone stuck in that loop.
Right.
That will break them out. They're the ones that have to make the shift in their own perceptions and their own realities in order for them to break out of that box.
Mm-hmm. And it's so great that you know that. It's so great that you know that. You guys have come into a more enlightened time than I did. And we did. And we had a lot of work to do before we could even get that. It was like we got this, we know this now, we want to tell everybody, we want to take everybody, pull everybody. So there's a lot of energy used in trying to, basically convert everybody to understanding that they create their own reality rather than living in a world where they're a victim to, life happens. And this is the way it is. And the only way I'm going to do it, the best I can is to play by the rules, whatever the rules are in your particular domain. So it's so great, and it's very exciting for us to hear that, just having this conversation is very exciting.
It's it's also I feel that now is a time that I just see people awakening in ways that they're not even aware of. That you see a lot of people, like I'll interact with them once or twice, and I'll already see huge dramatic shifts in their behavior. And it causes me to wonder, is like, you know, do they have like, was it just like a couple bad days I saw them on or whatever? But as I continue to see them, it's just like, you just see, especially the children right now. I mean, the children are just, even the unhappy children are still just changing so much faster than we are. And I'm around a couple of children who are very spiritually potential, but they're not quite there yet. And it's just every time I see them, they're always farther than I would expect them to be, and always in ways that surprise me, but also in the ways that I expect and already know. It's a funny game that we have on this planet, or maybe in existence in totality, but how we seem to know everything, but it still always surprises us.
It's like we're remembering what we already know.
I've definitely felt that. I've been meeting people and having deja vu with just about every experience, but not in a deja vu in a traditional sense, but as in the second I meet them, that it's like that memory is instantly in my long-term memory without any kind of processing. It was like, normally I have to go through a processing thing and remembering somebody and trying to do name games. But I've been meeting so many people nowadays that it's just so much like, Steve, I know exactly who you are. David, I know a David. And it was just like, as soon as I meet them, it was like I've known them forever. And my the concept that's coming in right now is, I want to say, is that that's past lives and alternate selves connecting with each other. Even in ways that you don't have to verbally know or even remember their name, but in these ways that you make these connections and you're just like, that was such an awesome person in this kind of way. That it opens you up to these different connections that you've had in certain ways, even if not consciously, because, you know, you could not be looking in the direction that you're going, and you would still be going there. So just because you're not consciously aware of something, it can certainly happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just go right by what, you know, we did when we did past life work and actually, you know, connected to different past lives that we were with different people that we knew in our group when we were doing that kind of thing. And you don't need to do that. We don't need to do that anymore. Now we can just recognize each other on a soul level, because it's the soul that keeps coming in. And
It's all the same one.
it's all the same one, yeah. And that also, you know, takes away the fear of death. Because, you know, and that's what the animals and that's what the plants and that's what everybody is telling me, is that, you know, our big fear of separation, our big fear is of, you know, loss, and that what plant world tells us is, and even the animal world, like they have no loneliness. And our greatest fear is loneliness.
Well, it's being separate.
It's being separate, well,
And
because we
part of
believe it.
And part of this illusion that they put up with us as they feed us as we're young is that we're finite, you know, we're going to die, or we're going to go to heaven or hell, but either way, but we're going to die, and in modern day society, especially atheism, that it's just kind of like you die and that's it. So it kind of is this eternal kind of like almost goth mentality of like, woe is me, I'm separated from reality and I'm going to die this way so that I will never have the chance to be connected with the rest of reality.
And there's
Or
no
s-
point to anything.
Where a lot of people metabolize this as, oh, well then I need to go have eternal life, and that's been talked about. But then there's also the other one, is that saying that I want to have a life now. This is going to be the only life I live, and they're just going to live it up. And in that way, that's, I mean, those people who are just living up life like they got nothing to lose is because they haven't been told they have anything. They haven't been told that they are everything.
So, all right, so we're putting this out on the internet, and we're expressing ourselves and our beliefs, and we're also wanting to speak to our audience, to the internet audience, and share with them our sense of certainty and safety and our sense of being positioned well and that this is a good time to be alive.